Hello everyone. We are going to start another decluttering sesh today. We have walked into my kid's bedroom. Yeah. Let's give this some help. So step one today, we gotta get some light in here. It is a dungeon in this room when they want it to be, which is most of the time. So I'll start with just a little tour of the room here, and we can identify the problem areas that need to be decluttered. First, I am going to start with their clothing because they are not home right now. They're at school. And the clothes I can do without them. This, I think, is dirty. No, that's not dirty. I just washed that. So the clothes I can do without them. I pretty much know what doesn't fit anymore. And it's mostly just Brody's stuff. This is pretty much Brody's side. That's Bo's side. But they are now in the same size clothing. Bo just turned 8 last week, and Brody turned 6 in February. But they're in the same size clothes because Brody is, even though he's not as tall as Bo, he is very sturdy. He's a sturdy child. So, yeah, they're in the same size clothes right now. I want to point out that Brody has been making his bed every morning. Bo has been trying. I don't really know what happened here, if he gave it a good go today or not. But, yeah, sweet little bro. He's been doing his tasks, as he calls them. Basically, it's chores. And I say to them that they have to make their beds and put their dirty clothes into the laundry, which looks like they've pretty much done. There might be a little bit of something over here, but I tell them dirty clothes in the laundry, and they've been doing it. And also I ask any cups or bowls or things need to go downstairs, and that's usually Bo. And you know, he's just not, he's not as into doing the tasks like Brody is. But Brody is very motivated by money. And they get stars. There's like a star chart. So I give them stars, and stars are equivalent to dollars, basically. That's how we do the little chores here. Moving on to this area, lots of clutter on top. But that's going to be part 2. This is bedding in this one, like sheets and stuff. These are some sort of older, these are shorts that maybe are big, like bigger shorts. This is some swimming stuff. We're a little caught up on the air conditioner there. Christmas sweaters, and I think these are more clothes that are too big that we have saved for when they grow into them. A little clutter pile there, bit of a mess. This chair needs to go downstairs somewhere. This movie sack, or love sack, or whatever you want to call it, is the bane of my existence, and I wish it didn't have to be in here, but Blake is adamant that we keep it. It was his. The kids never go on it because obviously it's always covered in stuff. It just becomes a catch-all for laundry and things like that. This is all clean laundry that needs to be hung up. This is bedding. This is another issue in this space. We have nowhere to keep clean bedding, and it just ends up floating around in here. So I'll have to address that. The plushie mountain, I'm going to need their assistance in weeding through this because this is completely out of control. Completely. Oh, there's a bowl down there. Okay. So there's some big squishmallows and plushies on the bed. There's one over there. There's probably something in that. And then there's this huge pile here. In their closet, in that space, there's a whole lot of nothing. What I would really love is to get a big bin or tote or basket right there and get all the plushies into that so that we can at least close the door. There can be a spot in there If this is all clear, then they can walk in there and open the doors and get to the plushies. So that's kind of my goal with this, but they are going to need to do some weeding out and getting rid of, because they certainly don't need all these plushies. Now, Brody does play with them. I will say he is very into like playing with these, like making them do things and say things and stuff. So I'm not saying that we're just going to be getting rid of everything, but it just needs to not be so much. Like literally overflowing. And some of these are special, might need to just go elsewhere. I'm just going to kind of put them in this mountain right now so that I can access everything else that I need to access. So, when do we zoom in? So there we go. There's Plushie Mountain, kind of all piled up. So Brody definitely does play with these all the time still. He is still very much of the age where he likes to play with these. And he's good about piling them all back up when I tell him he needs to do that. So I think if we get a basket or a tote or a bin or something in here that's open still so they can get the plushies in and out really easily, I think that will work better than just having them stuffed right here. Also, we have this, which was a good idea in the moment, and it worked for a little while, but obviously they got a lot more plushies since then. And the biggest problem was they needed me to take all these down for them. They couldn't reach this. So didn't really work the way I had hoped. I am planning to just take that down and get rid of it, because also it's just more visual clutter. I want it to be just less of everything, you know? So if all of these plushies that they decide to keep fit into a bin right here, I feel like we're golden. Now, as for the closet, Brody's clothes are down here. Bo's are up here as far as shirts go. This is like jerseys and jackets down this way. And then I don't totally know what all is up here. This is completely unused space. We still have diapers that nobody has used for a very long time. So obviously I need to get rid of those. Yeah, there's just... Back here is some like baby mementos that I need to get like into my cedar chest. These are the rest of my baseball cards, which certainly don't need to be in here. Looks like there's a toy back there that I didn't really know about. So yeah, we've got a lot of work to do in here, and I'm gonna start just going through their clothes while I have like an hour before they come home from school, because they're not gonna want to do that anyway. That's just gonna be very boring for them. And I'm pretty sure I know for the most part what fits them and what doesn't. So if I have any questions, I'll make a little pile of stuff I want them to try on. But otherwise, I'll be able to sort through these clothes very quickly without them here. Because sometimes kids make things take 10 times longer than if I just do it myself. So let's get started just sorting through their clothes. Some of these are so cute. So sad. Why do they have to grow? By the time winter comes, he's not going to fit into this anyway. It's borderline now. Well, I hold on to it just to donate it come winter. That looks nice and big. That'll fit. God, I feel like that might fit Bo. Sad, I love that one. Sometimes this hurts, but it's okay. I'm usually pretty good about not being overly sentimental with the clothing. It doesn't bother me very much. I can handle letting go of a lot of the clothes. There's cute things they have, cute things they wear, but there's pictures of them in it. So I don't feel the need to hang on to the actual items as much, if that makes sense. I'm going to switch to all gray hangers for Brody. I ran out, so I've been using some of the white ones for his things, but now I have enough, so I can just have Brody be the gray hangers, Bo is the white hangers. It doesn't really make a difference, but what it does do is let me know who is leaving their hangers all over the floor. Which kid doesn't put his hangers back up? So that's why I do this. Because, I mean, they're separated on 2 different racks anyway, so it's not like it matters for that purpose. It's more of just to see who's not keeping their room clean. That's about it. Vast majority of this stuff is fine. I feel like we sort through things a lot. This can be a pajama shirt. We sort through his stuff a lot. It's a little bit easier as he outgrows something to just put it down on the rack below. And it gets downgraded to Brody. Although now they're the same size pretty much. Brody can fit into one size smaller shirt than Bo can. And Bo can wear some bigger shirts that are slightly loose on him. That would just be like, Brody would be drowning in them. So Bo has a few bigger things that would be way too big on Brody. But, let's see. This has a major stain on it. If it's not out by now, it's never going to get out. I wouldn't let him wear that to school. This one looks okay. Okay, now I have laundry to put away. I also have this back side here to do. No, that doesn't fit. Oh my God, that's tiny. Here's where this part of the closet stands. There's a lot of empty hangers, which is good. I do have a lot of laundry that is dirty that I need to run, but there's plenty of room in the closet to put all that stuff away. And I know that all that stuff fits because they just wore it. That's why it's dirty. So here is the donate pile thus far before doing the dresser. All right, basically got one full trash bag to donate. Down. One down. Many to go. Hopefully. A remote. Great. This is mine. Okay. Hi. Stupid. Yeah, this one's mine. Okay. Oops. Here you get to see me Marie Kondo the heck out of these clothes. I was really into doing origami as a kid, so the whole Marie Kondo way of folding clothes greatly appeals to me and is very, very satisfying. And to be honest, completely folded clothes do fit in the drawer much, much easier. So it's not just like a myth. Big balled up chunks of clothes do not fit in narrow little drawers as nicely as perfectly folded ones. Here's another little pile to start a new giveaway bag. So you're keeping the ones on your bed, right?
Yeah.
Like those are for sure you don't want to get rid of.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
Don't love that one.
Well, this is about what you love. Okay?
Okay.
So we're going to just put them all over here on the blanket. I am going to spare you from the sped up chipmunk sounds of the constant talking of my child. And trust me, you're not missing any good conversation.
I caught it!
Good job.
We'll play the game of try to catch the animals.
Oh. I'm playing the game of trying not to break my back. That's the game I'm playing.
Mom, this is a shirt.
Oh, let me have it. Thank you. The kids ask me to do this for them quite often, to put all of the plushies in the middle of the room and have an animal party. They do have a lot of fun with these plushies. Any of the ones that you don't want, we'll just leave. So give me the ones you do want. Baby Yoda, start with the big one. Keep?
Yeah.
And should he go on your bed with the other Squishmallows?
Maybe.
I think that would probably be pretty good.
Put him right in. Okay, just put it.
Okay. Keep?
Yep.
Okay, get all of these characters then. We'll keep them all. We want to keep all the ones together.
Want this dude bun.
Yeah, you gotta keep them all. If you're gonna keep one, you gotta keep them all. There's Red behind you.
Oh, yeah.
Because these are all a set. They all go together. Whoa. Is there any other?
I'm holding green right now.
Oh, okay. Is that all the Rainbow Friends? Yellow? Is yellow over there?
He's over here. This is the olden days yellow.
Yeah.
There's another yellow though.
All right. Keep
Rainbow.
all those.
There's another rainbow friend. It might be in this file somewhere.
Okay.
It is.
If we find it, we'll put him in there.
Right
okay.
here.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So we got all the
Cyan
Rainbow
might
Friends.
be in here. Cyan should.
Oh. Yes, I made them keep all of the sets together. That's just my own compulsion coming out. I couldn't imagine breaking up a set and donating just one of the animals that went with other animals, like the characters go together. I don't know. That's a me problem. But the reason he didn't want that purple one anyway was because it had a hole in it. And once we sewed it back up, or once my mom sewed it back up, he plays with it all the time now again. So it was good that we kept it after all. And now Bo has also joined in the fun, mostly to say we actually need to keep the ones that Brody decided to get rid of.
Look how much Plants vs. Zombies. Hey guys.
So they ended up keeping nearly all of them. They got rid of 4 of them. 4 plushies out of this whole pile. This was almost a year ago, like you saw at the beginning of the video. So they have gotten rid of a few more since then, but they have also acquired more since then. I don't feel bad about them wanting to keep them all. I just need a better way to store them so that they're not out in the open collecting dust. I know that the plushie phase is not going to last forever. Like many other toys they have outgrown and gotten rid of. Eventually, they won't want any of these plushies anymore. They won't care about them at all. Much like the big, bulky plastic ride-on toys when they're toddlers, or the dinosaurs that are taking up space in the downstairs toy closet. I know one day they're just going to outgrow these, so for now, let's just hang on to them. Brody still plays with them every single day. Bo likes to have animal parties and play with them too, so I think it's sweet, and I have no problem hanging on to the plushies for a while longer while they're still young. I know it goes really fast.
Bye-bye. I'm still going to be doing it, actually.
That's it.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys.
So we're getting rid of 4, right?
Yeah.
We're getting rid of those
Yeah.
4. Now we're going to fast forward about 6 months to the end of December of 2024, just this last Christmas. This was the aftermath after Christmas. Also the aftermath after Vlogmas, if you watched those videos. I was obviously focusing the brunt of my attention on the rest of the house, on the downstairs, on the parts of the house that guests would be seen. I was cleaning very intensely downstairs and decluttering downstairs to have people over for Christmas and the holidays. And so the upstairs got very neglected, particularly their bedroom. Also, they got an influx of some new toys and more plushies. Like I said, they got a new rug for their bedroom, and we weren't doing anything up here. We were not taking care of things up here. The big playmat had to live up here to make room downstairs. So that is how it got into this state. And I was not making them clean their room. I wasn't staying on top of them to clean it because I was busy with other stuff. You know, that's just kind of how things go sometimes. Also, they got new beds for Christmas from my mom. Not the mattresses, but new bed frames. So we can get the beds up off the floor, which is going to be fantastic, so that the Roomba can vacuum underneath their beds. We're trying to control the dust in here more. That is going to be one of the main goals in this room, because my oldest son is very allergic to dust mites. Not so much the dust itself, but the dust mites, which live in the pillows and the bedding. We already have the dust mite covers on every mattress and box spring and the pillows, and I wash their bedding quite often, but things like the carpet, which we can't do anything about as renters, the curtains, the plushies in the room, all of that stuff needs to get tended to so that we curb the dust mites a little bit better. Getting the beds up off the floor with the new bed frames that my mom bought them for Christmas is going to help a lot, because then we'll be able to vacuum underneath the beds so Bo doesn't have to sneeze and have such bad allergies all night long.
What do you think, Max? Do you like it?
As you can see, Plushie Mountain is still here, as is the movie sack, big beanbag chair thingy, and it is being used currently for clean clothes, which is what I'm going to do now, is hang up all their clean clothing. The closet was practically empty. What I have done since the first half of this video, which was about 6 months prior to when I'm filming this, is I combined all of their clothes. Before, I had Bo's t-shirts hanging up on the higher rack and Brody's t-shirts t-shirts down on the bottom. Well, now at this point, they are completely in the same size. Brody is just growing like a weed. He's almost even as tall as Bo now. So since they're in the exact same size clothing, I have combined it all. I'm like, why am I going to separate it? There is no difference. They're both wearing everything. So I ended up putting all of the t-shirts on the top bar and all of their button-up kind of nicer, fancier shirts and long sleeve shirts on the bottom. So that is the new way we have organized the closet since the first half of this video, since they're 6 months apart. The other side of the closet still has sports jerseys and sweatshirts, so that didn't change. Obviously, I like keeping that stuff in the deeper part of the closet because they don't access it as much. Here is another little pile of stuff to get rid of because they are constantly growing, and I constantly have a donate pile for the things they have outgrown. And here's the final product in the closet. Yes, I color coordinate their items because that's what I do. It makes me happy when I have to put their laundry away. Now I'm just going to be making their beds and folding up the clean bedding. I need to come up with a better system for doing their bedding laundry. What I do now is strip their beds, put it in the wash, and I already have a set of clean bedding that has been sitting around gathering dust mites, and I put it on their bed, and then when the stuff in the wash is done, I just fold it and put it in their room to gather dust mites. I think it makes more sense to put the fresh out of the wash stuff onto their bed, so I think I'm going to change the way I do their bedding laundry. So now we're in January of this year, and this is when things really started getting wild, and the big chain reaction of events occurred. So my mom purchased the boys new beds for Christmas, new bed frames, which was super great, and I knew about it. This wasn't like a surprise or anything. So as they were putting them together, they realized that the dresser that was currently in their bedroom was too long, and it wasn't going to fit either in that location or need to just leave completely. And I opted to just completely trash the dresser. It was broken anyway. The drawers come all the way out and fall on my baby's feet and have done so in more than one occasion. And it just was really old. I got this as like a teenager maybe, or maybe like in my early 20s. So it's just something that was time to go. The top was messed up. The handles were falling off. It wasn't worth rearranging the whole room to make everything fit. So I'm like, okay, we will get a different dresser. For now, we took the smaller dresser that was between the beds and we moved it to where the bigger dresser was. That fit there perfectly fine. And between the beds, I put the little blue bookshelf because I was wanting to get this into their room anyway. And I kind of had a feeling this whole thing was going to happen. I figured there'd be this chain reaction of furniture because it just always does. You know, whenever you get something new, everything gets uprooted. It seems like. So that's what we did. I also took the curtains down in their bedroom because those curtains were causing Bo to have really bad allergies. But because my precious little children cannot have one sliver of light coming in their window, I put up a window shade instead. And this ended up being the biggest pain in the butt. And honestly, after living with it for a while, I don't love it. And it's ugly. And I don't really even want it up there anymore. So I'm trying to work on a new solution for this down the road, but for now it keeps the light out. It is velcroed on, so I can kind of unvelcro it and let it sort of hang down the side when it's daylight and they want light in their room. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's just also a pain in the butt. And the biggest problem is the air conditioner unit. That hose that goes out the window has to be there. So having anything wrapped around it is kind of complicated. So there was a lot of cutting and manipulating that needed to happen to get that shade on there. It's fine. It blocks out the light and it does its job. And that's, you know, that's the whole point. But it's super ugly to have just like a big black square on the window. So for me, yes, function is important, but I also need it to be pretty, dang it. So I'll be changing it again sometime at some point. Hopefully the kids kind of just, as they get older, get used to having like a little sliver of a street light coming in. Like they just, you know, at a certain point have to adapt and get used to that kind of a thing. But for now, we will just work around their neuroses. Okay, so here is the final product of, let's just say, round one, because there's more that I want to do in here. But like I'm sure I said on a voiceover, this was not a planned remodel or redo of their room. It was a chain reaction because of the beds. It's just sort of part one. I don't have the time, the energy, or the money to do the rest of it right now, but I will show you what we have accomplished. The beds are in. The new rug is in, the new bedding is in, the new shade is up. Obviously, those two brackets need to come down still, but I need Blake's help with that, and he's at work right now, and I didn't want to wait any longer to film this little after portion. So we will get to that soon. Who knows when he's going to get to that, but I don't really care. The functionality is there. This blackout shade needed to be up so that they can just stop complaining about one little sliver of light coming through the blinds. It's definitely much better than it was. And the curtains are gone, which Bo was incredibly allergic to the dust on there. And I just was not washing them often enough. They were a pain in the butt to get down. So, and the bracket obviously ripped out of the wall. So curtains are gone forever. This side of the room still needs some help. I am going to be taking down the plushies. We need a bigger dresser. Their clothes are so jammed in here right now. Handles, see, like they need to be able to open these easily. The clothes, I had folded them. Of course, once they start taking stuff out, then, it gets all messed up again. But these handles don't work well. It's hard for them to open. That one's going to fall off again. And there's just not enough room because this is for both of their clothes. Their pajamas, pants and shorts, baseball pant, uniform socks, socks and underwear. Even if it just came out a little bit farther and was a little bit taller, that would be perfect. I don't want it to go all the way and be this big, bulky, heavy thing. There is an IKEA dresser that I think is the correct size and shape that I have my eye on. It's just out of stock right now, but I think that will work nicely. Obviously, there's still a bunch of junk on top. Well, I won't say junk, but they're treasures on top here. This is pajamas that just doesn't fit. This is Brody's rock collection that needs a nicer box and just a few scattered little trinkets. And then their sound machine, their baby monitor, and the air purifier, which need to be there. This is just their dirty hamper. This box is stuff that needs to go downstairs, I believe. It's just something I still need to sort through. And I'm not going to do that right now. There's all of the donate clothes. I'll show that in a second. Stuffed Animal Mountain. I do have a plan for this in here. So that'll be another task for the end. I'm going to get a big bin, move the guitar downstairs. This is bedding, and that's their swim clothes, which I just shoved into a bag because I couldn't fit them into this little tiny dresser. Bedding, I want to get up here. This whole top shelf has not yet been sorted. There's most of this stuff can go. We still have diapers up here. They haven't been in diapers in years. So that just needs to get cleaned out. All of the plushies are going to go in that crevasse. And the love sack is staying, much to my dismay. Blake just will not let me get rid of this thing. Kids don't even hardly ever sit on it. I think you should just take it to work. Let the teenagers sit in it. That's it. That's the whole shebang. Hope you enjoyed this impromptu, spontaneous project that I was not planning to do at all. But I'm glad that it's done. Oh yeah, we also got new light bulbs up there. That makes a huge difference as well. Lastly, I'm going to end on the shot of how much stuff was leaving the room. This was both some bedding as well as a lot of clothes. That was a lot of bags of stuff out of that room. So bedding and stuff that was just too small and didn't work anymore. Really glad for it to be gone. That's it for now. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye everybody.